Well, hi there. Welcome back to Small Plates, accounting broken down into a tapas form. Anyway, this is Eric and Tim again. We're
Hey,
trying to take a look at the cash budget. And Eric's probably better at this than I am. So he puts all the pieces together. And his voice is better than mine. So he's going to kind of lead us through this one today. Now, these are classic problems in that they're missing data problems. They're easy for professors to write, easy to grade, so be prepared for missing data. Those are always ones at the top of my list. How about you?
I steal from you often. This is a highly testable
Oh,
material.
an HTM. I do like a good HTM. So anyway, we're going to go through these things and make sure you got the pieces. Okay. So what I've tried to do, and so this is problem 811. And so if I get my pen going, this is problem 811. So if you're following along in your hymnal, this is 811 for you. And so let's take a look, Eric. So they give us some information, and then we've got some of these blanks. So for example, I've got this blank right here for add collections. So give us a sense of what we're looking at here and what we're trying to accomplish with this format and this problem.
Yeah, well, there are three parts. There are actually four parts to this problem. You have your cash available.
Okay, so there's one.
You have your cash disbursements, the excess or deficiency, and whatever financing is needed. So those are the four parts. The components all fall into one of those four parts, and this is really a math puzzle with a little bit of accounting sprinkled in. So we've been given our beginning cash balance and a total cash available.
Okay, so I've got this is what's in my bank account to begin with.
Yep.
And then now I have what's available to me based on what I started with,
Correct.
and then new cash that I got in the door.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. What was added during the period.
All right. So you're trying to go back and solve that one right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that has to be 65. Why? Because we ended up with 71, and we started with 6. So we have to have added 65 during the period.
So 65 is going to be the amount that fills out this little piece. And so Eric and I a lot of times will talk about this is if you know two of the three,
Yep.
you can get the third. So if you knew the total cash available, you knew the beginning, I had to add the 65.
Yeah.
Okay, then what's next?
So we know we have a lot of missing pieces in our cash disbursement, so we can't really operate in order. But what we do know is that we have a $2,000 deficiency.
Okay,
Now, what the deficiency says is that we spent $2,000 more than what we brought in.
oh, okay.
So if our cash, well, we spent $2,000 more than our cash available, not so much what we brought in.
So this is why my daughter will send me an email at the end of the month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The Dear Dad email.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
So if we know that we're $2,000 short, and we know that we had cash available of 71,000, then our total disbursements has to be dun dun dun, dun 73,000.
Okay, so what you're saying is I had 71,000 then available. I spent 73,000, so I've spent more than I had.
Right.
So that's what this deficiency means.
Yes.
I just spent more than I had.
Right.
Okay.
So we have to
cool.
work backwards from that to get to that amount.
So then I can fill this piece in. If I know this total of the disbursements is 73,
Mm-hmm.
then I can come in here and I know this number is going to be 28.
Right.
So if 73, and if I have the 35, the 8, and the 2, subtract those from 73, and what's left has to be the 28.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it. All right. Now what could I do? What can I do now?
Well, we know from the narrative that
Oh.
we have to keep a $5,000 minimum cash balance.
So what you're saying, students should really read the problem in some detail.
That would be helpful.
Okay,
Yes.
reading the problem. Because I asked him about where the 5,000 came from when we were working on this, and he says it's in the problem. All right. So then what?
That's behind the curtain now.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need to know that.
So in order for us, we have a $2,000 deficiency. So in order for us to make this $5,000 ending cash balance that's given, we have to borrow $7,000.
Okay. So that relates to the total financing I need, right?
Correct. Yes.
So if I'm just filling in the blanks here, so what you're telling me is that if I take the cash available, I compare it to this cash disbursements, I get a -2, and for me to maintain this, I can back into this 7.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And as a result, since we're not paying any of our borrowings, previous borrowings, then we're left with this one last thing that says our borrowings themselves are going to be the oops, sorry, too many buttons for the old guy. So I'll go up here and I get the 7.
Yes.
Okay, so that's our setup. So the thing to remember, Eric set you up with these 4 things. You need to make sure you've got those 4 things. You need to be nimble enough to fill in the blanks, okay, and decide on what order you're going to do these things in.
Exactly.
And what other words of wisdom do you have?
Well, 2 things. Number 1, the order that you do those in, that's going to change based on the information that's given to you.
So the order.
So in the next quarters, you may be given different information.
Okay. So the order of calculation changes.
Yep.
Okay.
And also, the second thing is this is quarter 1. So on March 31st, we had an ending cash balance of 5. At the stroke of midnight on April 1st, that becomes the beginning balance of quarter 2.
Well, that is magic. Yeah, all right. So that comes up here. And now I've got the 5 up here. So quarter 1, my beginning balance was 6. Now I'm at 5. And the only reason I was able to get to the 5 is because I borrowed another $7,000.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I'd be overdrawn. And parents don't like that.
Not
if
at
you're overdrawn. So we'll come back with some additional quarters, but that's additional initially the setup for these problems, and we'll check how nimble you are when we look at the next 3 quarters.
Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.